Hello YouTube, this is Brian Essick here from howtoautomotive.com. Today I'm bringing you a 2007 Jetta. We're going to replace the spark plugs and air filter on this one. To get started, we're going to start by removing the air cleaner. On the inlet neck, there's two screws here and here. You want to start by removing those. Next, we're going to pop the squeeze clamp off the mass airflow sensor with the air inlet boot here, and we're going to take this boot off. After taking the clamp off and moving it back and pulling the boot off, it's a rubber boot. Then you're going to disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Volkswagen's electrical connectors can be finicky to get them off. What you do is you pry right here on this little tab. Well, the best way to do it is actually push the connector, whatever connector it is, in towards whatever it is, and then pry the tab back and pull it off. Most of the time you can hear a little click. You want to be very careful because this tab breaks off very easily. Now what we're going to do is pry the air cleaner off. What I like to do is grab my hands under the corners on the left and right side of this and gently pry upwards and free the front first, and then I work towards the back of it, and I do the same thing back here and on the corners and pry them up. Now that we got the air cleaner popped up, what we want to do is pop off the air intake temp sensor wiring, and there's a little, it's held in a little groove here, a little catch here, so you pry it up a little bit and then pry the tab back like so, and it comes off. Now the air cleaner is ready to be fully removed. Now that the air cleaner is off, you can see the coils where the spark plugs are at. So we're going to start by, I like to pry underneath them a little bit and pry them up. They're just held in by like they're just pressed in. So I like to pry them up just a little bit, and that gives me access to get the wiring harness unplugged. These are the same squeeze tabs that Volkswagen uses pretty much on all their electrical connectors. So after prying up all 5 of the coils, now there's plenty of room to get to the tabs and pry them off. So it took both hands to get each one of these connectors off. So I push in with one hand and pry the tab with my thumb, and then I pull the connectors off. I got all 5 of them off now. So now we're just going to remove all the coils. And now we're ready to extract the spark plugs. So now we're going to start removing the spark plugs. So you'll need a 5/8 socket, snap-on or spark plug socket, and extension. And I always recommend, especially on cars that have aluminum cylinder heads, to do everything by hand. Early in my career, I pulled one out with an air ratchet and I pulled the threads out with it. So to avoid that, I just recommend working slow and by hand, and you won't have any problems. Little tip for you: just before you pull the spark plugs out, I like to take my air blower and blow out the tubes here, because debris likes to fall in there. So I like to blow it out, so that way when you take the spark plugs out, all the dirt and debris doesn't fall into the cylinders. Okay, so now I've run the spark plugs in by hand all the way down to the snug. And on these spark plugs, they have a little crush washer. So what you want to do, the final step, it really should take 2 hands to do this, but I'm going to do it. You just turn it a little bit more until you kind of feel the crush washer crush, and it's nice and snug. But you don't have to go any tighter than that. You really don't need a whole lot of force on them to keep them in. And that's it. Now that we got all 5 of the spark plugs back in this car, we're going to put the coils back in, but don't lock them all the way down. I'll show you. Here, we'll put them in, and then we'll hook the electrical connectors up, and then crimp them all together, and then close them all down. Now we have all the coils just sitting in there. I just put the electrical connectors on like that. Just crimp them on until they all lock into place. Okay, now they're all locked in place. Now you can push them all back down into their slots. And that way the wiring harness lays perfectly flat the way it's supposed to. And now it's time to change the air filter and put the air cleaner back on. So what you want to do is flip the air cleaner upside down and take out or unscrew there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws here. Unscrew the 5 screws. Once they got them unscrewed, I had to take a little pry bar and pry it up like that. So you pry it up like so, and now the air cleaner will come out. And now you can change the air cleaner. As you can see, this one's dirty. So after putting the new air cleaner back into its purge here, you want to reassemble it. So to reassemble it, you gotta hook these little tabs that are on the back of the air cleaner onto the bottom of the air cleaner here. See if you can see them here. So you hook it like so, and then you flip it down. Okay, so now you retighten your screws. Now that the air filter is back in the air cleaner, it's time to lock it back down in place. One of the things I wanted to show you guys is they have these little rubber mounts, and when you flip the air cleaner back over, they go on these perches. So that's, you got to line these up. There's 4 of them on this car. So when you flip it upside down, you have to feel for it. You kind of have to feel if and you'll feel them attach on here, and then you pop them back into place. And I'll show you that now. So I flipped the air cleaner back over, and you can kind of tell because the oil filter will line up. So when everything's lined up, you get it lined up, and you kind of have to wiggle it around a little bit, and you'll feel it land on those little perches. And then after you get them on the perches, you just apply pressure on all 4 corners, and they lock down like so. Now you got it in place. Now you reinstall your air boots and your clamps and your mass airflow sensor and your air temp sensor. Now that we got the air cleaner all back on, I fired her off and made sure she wasn't misfiring or anything. The next step would be to clear the code if it was misfiring when it came in. This car was just for maintenance. And then test drive your cars. Always test drive your cars. This is Brian Essex from Automotive.com. I'd like to thank you for watching my videos. And if I can help you out in any other way, please leave a comment below, and as you come in the bay, I'll shoot videos for you. Thank you.